Hi everyone, I wanted to do this video a little differently. I want to start out by reading Matthew 24, verse 29. Okay, clearly we can see what it says. Immediately after the tribulation of those days will the sun be darkened, and the moon will not give her light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. I have received three visions actually, of shooting stars again. One was on July the 13th, one was on July the 15th, and in the last couple of days I've received it for the third time. And that's in addition to what I received on April the 8th, on April the 12th, on April the 13th, on April the 14th, and so on. My point is this scripture is coming to pass, where it says, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. Remember when I talked to you about the shooting stars in one of my visions, and that I saw black circles going upward against those stars? I believe that that is in reference to the scripture where it says, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. I think that's a part of it. And that is where God will show forth his power and rebuke the darkness. Now, what the Lord gave me was to say that I need to remind people of what I've been given, and remind you, moreover, that he is coming, that Christ is going to split that sky. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines even unto the west, so it will be, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Interesting. Those are the words. Let's go a little further down. Verse 30. And then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then will all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. This scripture is very important because the message that I am getting is he is coming. And that is what I'm to remind you of, is that Jesus Christ is going to return. It's going to happen. And we're not in the final minutes. We're in the final seconds of this. And even he doesn't know the day or the hour, but God does. And I've been praying for it. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly have. Okay, also, the other things I received in the last 30 to 90 days. On June the 2nd, I saw a missile. And a couple of times I have received the debris falling from the skies that I thought were asteroids, but they're rocks. And there is a verse that talks about the Lord throwing rocks down from heaven. And that is Nahum 1:6, chapter 1, verse 6, where it says, who can stand before his indignation, and who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. So, this is what we need to focus on, and that's the return of Jesus Christ. Now, inasmuch as I have received some pretty intense things, I have received some beautiful things that I feel the Lord wanted me to remind everyone of, and some things I haven't shared, and I will share now. One of the things I did share was a vision I saw of Jesus, and he was standing at the forefront, clothed in all white, and there was a gold sash like around him. And there were other men behind him, and they were all wearing white as well. The other thing I received was another vision a while back of Christ, and he was standing up front, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of his people behind him, all clothed in white raiment. And again, there's no skin color. That was just the raiment. There were no black people, no white people, no brown people, no colors at all. They were all beaming white light. Okay, the other thing I've received was a lion. Um, oh gosh, what do you call those lions? You know, the big ones. Well, scrap it. I don't know how to explain it, but it was a lion coming right up close to my face, just right a half inch from my nose. And that was the Lord letting me know that the vengeance is His. And for those of you who have been victims of narcissistic abuse, you know just how much that means, because there are some things that only God can defend. Now, the other thing I received was a large yellow diamond. That was just an incredible, beautiful vision. Absolutely incredible. It started out like a kaleidoscope. You know, when you look into a kaleidoscope, you see those little, though I can't think of the word, but anyway, you guys know what I mean. And it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it took the shape of a diamond. Okay, thereafter, I received 2 white roses, indicative, obviously, these things are indicative of the marriage supper, the bride of Christ. Also, some other neat stuff I received. I've received hearts, just hearts, and that's clearly indicative of the love of Jesus Christ. And also, one of the most beautiful visions I've received was one of a flower. And some of you may recall this, but it was like a sunflower, and out of this flower was flowing like gold water. It was absolutely phenomenal. There are no words for what I saw. It's just, it's beyond description. So, now also, what he has mentioned is seek the Lord while he may be found. Seek him while he may be found, because the time is coming when Jesus Christ is literally going to shut the door. And for those of you who are still trying to wrap your mind around what you see and what is going on in the spiritual world, be sure you look up cognitive dissonance, because it's a big deal. It's a mind stretch. But the Lord will reveal himself to you if you ask him. Okay, so lastly, I wanted to briefly go over women and their role in terms of a biblical sense, and whether or not women like me should even be doing things like this. Now, I want to refer you back to Anna the prophet that you can look up in the Old Testament. I've gone over that before in a previous video. Again, it's Anna. And she was a prophetess, I think they call them. But anyway, it's a very interesting little couple verses on her in the Bible. Also, look up Priscilla and Aquila. They ministered to Paul. They taught Paul. Can you imagine? And also something else that Jesus showed me, and that is that I believe this is in the book of Matthew. I don't have the scripture right in front of me, even though I should have it in front of me. And it says, and many women were beholding from afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering to him. They were ministering to Jesus. And it does say that in the last days that God will pour out his Spirit upon all flesh, upon his handmaidens. And women are included in that. So I've had a couple women make mention of the fact that they don't think they should even be making comments on YouTube. It's like, no, there is a purpose for us. So be at peace with that. Not all the prophets were male, and that was the Lord's intention. Okay, that's it, everybody. The Lord had me hop on here and tell you to remind you of what he said. And what he said is tell them, I am coming.